Power is the currency that runs the Marvel Universe. Over the years, we have been introduced to all kinds of powerful entities, from cosmic giants to literal gods, who rule over the vast expanse of this world. Thus, it's actually pretty natural to wonder which one of these characters is the most powerful of them all. Well, that's exactly what we are here to find out. In this marvelous video, we will explore the various characters from the Marvel Universe, who stand a chance to become the most powerful god and see what makes them so damn special. However, before beginning to uncover the secrets of the cosmos, please take a moment to hit the like and subscribe buttons. It might be just a small click for you, but to us, it means an awful lot. Now, without further ado, let's begin. Who is the most powerful god in the Marvel Universe? Most Marvel fans, even the casual ones, are probably aware of the fact that multiple mythical pantheons coexist in different parts of the Marvel Universe at any given point. All individuals belonging to these pantheons are incredibly powerful creatures. So let's begin this video by analyzing the most prominent of these groups one by one. Asgardians. The Asgardians are by far the most famous of all the gods. This humanoid race of extra-dimensional beings hailed from the magical land of Asgard, which is situated in a small pocket dimension adjacent to Earth. They are often called the Aesir gods, as they have long been worshipped by humans from Scandinavia, Britain, and Northern Europe. Though their religion eventually had a downfall because of Christianity's rise, they are still relevant. In the Marvel Universe, many Asgardians, like Thor and Odin, are now integral parts of the fictional universe, with their exploits being the most entertaining part of many stories. The Asgardians' origins are still shrouded in myth, with the information largely being contained in the form of stories and legends written about this race. Asgardians are essentially immortals and have access to ancient magic that can easily dwarf even the most advanced weapons in terms of efficiency and power. However, not all Asgardians can wield this powerful magic. Asgardians are also relatively behind in technology, which can be pretty detrimental in battle. Olympians. Up next, we have the Olympians, a humanoid race that hails from the pocket dimension, Olympia. Though their homeland is essentially a separate pocket dimension that exists adjacent to Earth, they can interact with our planet via an interdimensional nexus between Olympus and Earth that can be accessed via Mount Olympus in Greece. Though they are extra-dimensional beings, they are considered to be the gods of Olympus, who were revered back in the days of ancient Greece. They remained relevant from 2000 BC to 500 AD until their faith faded away due to Christianity in the modern era, just like the Asgardians. The Olympians have no certain origins, but it is believed that it all began with the goddess Nyx, the goddess of night, who was the first one to emerge from the primordial abyss. She would go on to give birth to some really powerful offspring like Titans, Cyclopes, and Hecatoncheires. However, it was the youngest child, Cronus, who eventually found his way to the throne by castrating the sky god, Uranos, with his dying breath. Uranos declared that Cronus would one day be overthrown by his own sons. This child was Zeus, the leader of the Olympian pantheon, which still finds a mention in numerous Marvel storylines. Olympians have many abilities that are beyond humans, like superhuman strength, speed, stamina, and durability. They also have a regenerative healing factor that can help them get over most injuries and wounds. Unlike Asgardians, Olympians are true immortals and naturally cease aging once they attain adulthood. Many Olympian gods are also capable of manipulating energy and natural elements to use in battle. The one above all. Though the gods we mentioned above are truly powerful, there is someone who basically stands above them all. This entity is aptly named the One Above All, and it's essentially the highest creative force in all of known existence. The smartest minds in all of Marvel believe that the One Above All alone is far more powerful than all its creations combined. Though this entity rarely acts on its own, its loyal servant, the Living Tribunal, is always present to intervene on its behalf as the supreme authority in the multiverse. The One Above All is said to live in the House of Ideas, a heaven of sorts that exists far beyond the confines of time and space. The only weapon wielded by the One Above All is love, but it's also capable of manifesting as the demonic entity known as the One Below All. In this demonic form, the entity wields hate as its ultimate weapon rather than love. Though the One Above All is by far the most powerful entity we have ever seen, it is also suspected that he is just the beginning of something far greater, as there are things in the multiverse that even this god is completely oblivious about. This self-created being seeks to ensure cosmic balance, but the irony is that Earth, one of its many creations, is actually the origin of much of the imbalance. It all began when Earth was defiled by another self-created entity known as the Mother of Horrors, who proceeded to challenge the One Above All through her son, Udru. This was the first time that the One Above All was forced to manifest as the One Below All. The destructive force wielded by the One Below All turned out to be so great that it permanently disfigured Udru and ultimately chained the Mother of Horrors. The One Below All would then go on to assume the role of a cosmic counterbalance, which ensured that the multiverse would not endlessly expand unchecked, but would rather be renewed through cycles of death and rebirth. It is also said that the One Above All was called into action once more, about 1 billion years ago, when the first storm god, Hadid, ended up assuming immense power and began enslaving abstract cosmic entities. The devastating battle would take place in the dimension of manifestations, where the One Above All succeeded in defeating Hadid definitively, once and for all. Although Hadid was not completely destroyed, he had no other option than to wait for his eventual return. All these battles go a long way to prove that One Above All is the ultimate guardian of the Marvel Universe's cosmic order. As the ultimate creator, the One Above All is seen as a boundless source of life and creation. It is an entity capable of infinite love, compassion, and light. The Cosmic Watcher has confined that the One Above All just wields love as its weapon and prefers to observe existence through all his creations. Though it likes to remain in solitude, the One Above All does interact with mortals in times of great need. For example, he offered hope to Beta Ray Bill in a moment of great despair, and also appeared in front of Spidey when the web slinger was struggling to cope with the fear of losing Aunt May. Though it has enough power to alter the collective fate of the universe, the One Above All refrains from direct interference and rather encourages mortals to forge their own destinies, while subtly aiding them in providing hope. One Below All, its dark counterpart, is quite the opposite and wants to reset existence through death. But this is also necessary as it enables the multiverse's continual cycle of rebirth and renewal. As the Supreme Being, the One Above All is omnipresent and omniscient. Its powers transcend human comprehension and are even beyond that of the abstract entities, including the Living Tribunal. The Living Tribunal. Well, all that talk about the Living Tribunal has helped us realize that we'd be terribly amiss if we didn't mention the second most powerful god in all of Marvel on this list. This entity is the living embodiment of the multiversal law laid down by the One Above All, a cosmic entity of unimaginable power. He's a force that has existed since the dawn of the multiverse. He serves as the supreme arbiter and ensures that no part of the universe does something that upsets the cosmic balance. His primary role is to keep any one reality from attaining so much power that it overwhelms the universal balance. Interestingly, there is only one living tribunal across all realities. Thus, it can be assumed that this entity has the power to operate simultaneously across multiple planes of existence. Moreover, it may appear in different forms of different beings. To humans, the Living Tribunal appears like a humanoid being with 3 faces, each symbolizing one aspect of its judgment: equity, necessity, and vengeance. All these aspects need to agree with each other for the entity to actually take action. Throughout history, the Living Tribunal has regularly interacted with different heroes and beings. It first contacted Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme, during a crisis. Over the years, he has also shown himself to other characters like Rom, Beyonder, the Phoenix, etc. This proves that the Living Tribunal is not averse to interacting with mortals like its master, the One Above All. Despite all its power, the Living Tribunal isn't immortal. One tribunal was actually killed at the hands of the Beyonders, with each of its fragments landing as shards across realities. Its remains ended up being really instrumental in the creation of life rafts, which allowed people to survive multiversal incursions. After the original tribunal's death, Adam Warlock of Earth 19141 was appointed as the successor and inherited all of the tribunal's responsibilities. The Living Tribunal is almost omnipotent across all realities and has such command over the cosmic forces that he could nullify the Infinity Gems. Since the tribunal's power comes directly from the One Above All, it's safe to say that he's the second most powerful being in the multiverse. That's definitely no small feat, especially when you have superpowered beings living on every street corner like in the Marvel Universe. True gods versus cosmic beings. Compared to beings like the One Above All and the Living Tribunal, the powers possessed by true gods are pretty significant. For example, consider Odin, one of the highest gods from the Asgardian pantheon. In spite of his overwhelming super strength, speed, and durability, there is basically no chance for him to beat an abstract entity, like One Above All, which rules over the entire cosmos. Zeus, from the Olympian pantheon, would also probably suffer the same fate in spite of the fact that he has better combat skills, due to his proficiency in magic, control over weather, electricity manipulation, and shape alteration. These powers might seem great, but they can barely do anything when you go against the literal creator of your universe. I guess it will suffice to say that the One Above All is kind of the greatest ever. However, there are some dark beings that can actually pose a challenge to abstract cosmic entities, especially in their own domains. For example, there's the Dark King Null, who probably can't beat the One Above All on neutral ground, but can actually be pretty powerful if they faced off against the existential chasm of the Abyss, where the malevolent deity has absolute control. Null's mastery of the darker forces in the cosmos is definitely a challenge to the absolute creator, but we're sure that he would still be able to overcome it, given enough time. Marvelous verdict. Well, this list goes a long way to show that even if you are God, there's always someone more powerful right around the corner, especially if you live in a place like the Marvel Universe. Though the One Above All is undoubtedly the most powerful at this point in time, we are sure that we will see more additions to the lore as time goes on. But do you agree with our assessment? Or do you think there's someone even more powerful in the Marvel Universe? Let us know in the comments below. Also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button when you are down there to stay up to date with all our marvelous content. Anyway, that's it for this one. But don't worry, because we'll catch you in our other videos real soon. Goodbye.